Dirty folks. Dirty folks. Dirty folks. No soap.
No soap. Okay, anybody ever seen a mission
Dirty
statement?
folks.
Keep messing that up. Welcome to the Dirty Folks podcast. I am Dirty Folks and I am out of focus. Okay, so this is a real quick uh sub requested video. He found out about Disney, the governor of Florida, DeSantos, trying to take away Disney's sovereignty. And he decided, he said, oh my God, they had sovereignty. They were their own sovereign nation within a nation. I'm telling you all that. But colors don't listen to the smart kid. Y'all listen to believers. Y'all want to be Hebrews and fucking shamans and Islamic and all type of shit because y'all have y'all feelings and can I get some pussy? But y'all never follow the smart kids. But I'm gonna learn y'all niggas today. I'm not gonna give y'all too much information because I know you colors. Y'all take a tiny bit of information and run off with it and fuck up everything you touch and make people close loopholes because y'all goofy motherfuckers don't listen to the smart kid. Y'all just like, I got influence. So I'm just gonna give y'all a little tidbit. But this is a sub requested thing. Actually, two subs. First, Elijah hit me up, was like, I saw the Disney thing. I thought about you. Was everything you said about systems and how you could do whatever you want to do in America. And the second was just ironically, somebody called me right after that, was like, yo, what's up on that tribal shit? Um, so we're gonna go through it. First of all, um, let's talk about what's going on in Florida. So let me move this up so I quit doing what I'm doing. The goofy shit. Um, so
Dirty folks.
I'm just not getting this right today. So Disney has a countersuit saying that Florida can't legally dissolve their sovereignty unless they assume their debt. Now, what people don't understand is Disney runs at a $15 million a year debt. 15 million ain't that much for Disney, but they run at a $15 million a year debt. And on top of that, they have $1 billion in services, right? So the state would have to pay for all their services upfront and pay their debt in order to dissolve. So, and that's basically what they're saying. Florida Republicans failed to notice an obscure provision in state law that says the state cannot do what legislators are doing unless the district's bond debt was paid off. So you would have to be totally solvent before you can assume a debt. But that's any nation, right? Like they talk about the American debt all the time, but nobody can buy America. No matter how much money China pumps into America, China can't buy America until um, unless they bought all of America's debt. And America's what, $3 trillion in debt right now, something like that. So they would have to buy the debt and then purchase America on top of that, right? So that's the law of the land, right? So the name of their district is Reedy Creek. So dissolving Reedy Creek uh, and alter its ability to improve and maintain its project to collect various charges and taxes, thus violating its pledge to bondholders. Um, Here's the thing. This is the key here. DeSantis claimed on Monday that under no circumstances will Disney not pay its fair share of taxes, and under no circumstances will Disney not pay its debts. But in fact, Disney has more power now to determine its tax bill than it did a week ago, right? What's crazy to me is they want to punish Disney, but this is the furthest thing from it. Okay, so let me explain to you what that means. What that means is if they have to assume the debt in order to make Disney solvent, and Disney runs its own shit, right? Like for instance, when I talk about Tribe, and I'll get into that in a minute, I'll show y'all a brief overview, but I don't really share it like that. with you commoners. But when in order for Disney to be insolvent, Disney runs its own sanitation. Disney runs its own electrical grid. Runs its own hospital. Disney has its own police force. When you go to Disney, you have to exchange your money for Disney bucks, which is a cute name, but it's no different than any currency exchange. Y'all play with the forex. If I go to uh Mexico, I have to exchange my US dollar for Mexican pesos. If I go to Canada, I got to exchange US dollars for their monopoly looking Canadian dollars. When you go to Disney, no different. You have to exchange your currency for Disney bucks. So they run their own currency. Disney does Disney at all times. To a lesser extent, it's like Chuck E. Cheese. You can have a quarter, but you need a Chuck E. Cheese token. They have their own currency that you can only spend there, but and you can exchange it when you leave for US dollars. But while you're there, that's what you spend, right? So what they have done essentially is, let's say that Disney pays all the sanitation workers $12 an hour, but they get bonuses and incentives and they get shares in Disney, right? So I'm only gonna pay you $12 an hour, but I'm also gonna give you shares in the company, right? Now they have the opportunity to turn around and said, to say, yo, our sanitation workers really are worth $21 an hour. So you have to absorb that. You have to absorb that debt. Um, self-governing. A lot of people have self-governing power. The Amish have self-governing power. Uh, the militias have self-governing power. Having self-governance is just that. You govern yourself. America, for regardless what these goddamn liberals and black women tell you, this is a republic. To the republic for which we stand, one nation, overall, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. That is in your preamble to the Constitution. To the republic, not to the democracy. Democracy means that everybody votes, and whoever gets the most votes, that's what we do. That's a democracy. We have a democratic republic. We're democratic to the point that we vote for who's going to be our representative, but they represent us to the republic. Y'all saw Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? They called it the Republic. The Federation was a republic. They had one representative from Tatooine, one representative. Like, look at all the people that were there. For every planet, sent a representative. They represented to the republic. America is a republic. Y'all liberals will tell you it's a democracy. Everybody should have a voice, and we should be socialists. Everybody should have the same shit. Fuck them. Quit being black. Be a man, goddammit. This is man talk. Give me this shit. So what ended up happening is they allowed Disney to do their own thing. Now Disney is a personal hero of mine. He's not in my top five. My top five varies, but Disney ain't even in my top five. My top five is Hitler, Napoleon, Stalin, L. Ron Hubbard, and Jesus. Sometimes I swap L. Ron Hubbard with Louis Vuitton. Sometimes I swap him with Ben Franklin. Sometimes but my my top four is solid, and Jesus only make it because niggas still buying his books 2,000 years later. He's still a bestseller, so I gotta respect the hustle. But everybody that's in my top five were tribal warlords, right? And with that being said, hate makes you great. Hate made Napoleon great. Hate made Hitler great. Hate made Stalin great. Hate made Hate and pedophilia made Ben Franklin great. Ben Franklin was so great that the motherfucker was from England, had a crib in England, went to the colony, said, I'm American now, went to war with England, even though he got a crib in England. How did he set up the English? He went to France, had homies in France. This nigga was a quadruple agent because he hated everybody. Hate makes you great. Jesus, he sell a lot of books. So I fucks with Jesus for that. But Louis Vuitton hated the French, hated slavery, went to war against France, the only country to ever get they sovereignty in slave times. L. Ron Hubbard hated paying taxes. Like I'm more like L. Ron Hubbard than I am anybody. So he make my top five sometimes. But L. Ron Hubbard, he wrote sci-fi books. And then he wrote Dianetics. I remember the commercials for Dianetics when I was a kid. They ran infomercials for that book. Said he didn't want to pay taxes on this shit. How can I get out of paying taxes? Started a church, called it Scientology, and now Scientology. Every book in Scientology is written by L. Ron Hubbard. So you found a way to become scholastic, or was it Texas Instruments, or not Texas Instruments, Texas something. You get to write the books for your curriculum. As a publisher, I love that shit. For me to say, man, I want to set up a boarding school, who the fuck you think gonna publish all the books for the boarding school? It ain't gonna be Scholastic. It's gonna be Crusader Publishing. I'm gonna run that shit. The content that I want goes into the books. You know what I mean? I get a cut. I love L. Ron Hubbard for that, right? And first of all, I've been in the Scientology lab. Phenomenal books. I've learned a lot from L. Ron Hubbard. Like, he was a brilliant man, but all people think is Scientology's a cult. But they don't pay no fucking taxes, and they every fucking where, and you ain't got to get no jab in your fucking arm if you're a Scientologist, because it's against their religion. Anyway, shout out to L. Ron. Um, so I'm saying there's examples of, hell no, Marcus Garvey ain't in my top five. Um, much respect to Marcus Garvey, but hell no, he ain't in my top five. I ain't black. The black people top five be all the motherfuckers on that photo. It be Marcus Garvey, but he be at the small picture. It'd be Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, Malcolm X, and then somehow Obama. Obama just be, man, fuck the nigga top five, nigga. My top five of niggas do shit. Them top five of niggas have you believe shit. We believe to be black means that you want to be a slave. Everything that niggas believe in is slavery. Everything. They want to be descendants of slaves. They want to be black, which is a slave code. They talk about the Hebrew Israelites. The only thing Hebrews did for 430 years was be slaves. These niggas got free from Egypt. What's the first thing they said when they after they saw um Moses part the Red Sea? Yo, fuck this shit. We can just go back to Egypt. They wanted to run back to slavery. Even in America, the slaves didn't want to not be slaves. Black people didn't fight for their slavery. White people in the North, the Union fought for black people to be free. Niggas don't care about slavery. Niggas love slavery. You rebrand slavery as essential workers, you tell the bitches in Section 8, motherfuckers will run back to slavery. They love slavery. Fuck them nigga heroes, nigga. Man heroes. Anyway, so back to Disney, because that's the point. Walt Disney was a personal, I love this story, because the story was built on hate, right? Hate makes you great. Love changes you. Hate changes the world. If you want to make a big change, you gotta hate something. Y'all gotta hate something as much as I hate these goddamn quiches. I stopped being black not because I was like, oh my God, it's prejudice and American race. No, I stopped being black because I didn't want to be associated with quiches. I was like, it gotta be something different. Cause I can't be with these bitches. I don't give a fuck about white people. White people gonna do what they gonna do. So are the Arabs, so are the Asians, so are the Senegalese. Everybody gonna do what they gonna do. I know how men operate. Men don't even want no drama. If you look at all the race riots in America, every race riot started over banking or bitches. And the only one that started over banking was the Chicago riots in 1919, and the riots of the Geechee Wars in Jacksonville, which used to be called Negro Town. It's probably called Nigger Town, but history cleaned it up. And then Andrew Jackson went down there and conquered all the colors, and somehow Negro Town turned to Jacksonville, and all the black people he went to fight all of a sudden turned to Indians on the Trail of Tears. Same people, but y'all don't pay attention to history. Now, those are the only two wars that was about turf and territory and money and shit. Everything else was some black chick trying to fuck a white man, and she got pregnant. It was like, George, I'm pregnant. We're gonna have a baby. He was like, no, we ain't, bitch. And then he kill her, right? He lynched her, whatever. And then the black guys like, oh my God, my pussy. And then they kill everybody, right? Lynch everybody. Or a black dude who don't even get the pussy getting accused of raping or touching a black woman. Fucking um Tulsa, Oklahoma. White girl fell in the elevator, fell into a black man's arms, like ew, started a whole riot. over a black man just touching a white woman on accident. Fucking down in Mississippi, uh, um, can't think of the young man's name. And he started the civil rights movement. Whistled at that white woman allegedly, and then they started an entire um boy was from Chicago too. Damn, I can't think of his name. And he is probably one of the most pivotal people in American history. Um, but it's always over a woman. Eliminate the women, train your toddlers. That's like 70-80% of your rebellion right there. Them y'all bitches. Y'all fuck with y'all, but we got our bitches. Don't even worry about that shit. You can cut down a lot of that shit just immediately. Train your toddler, right? I'm gonna get to that too, but I want to get to this Walt Disney. So Walt Disney, I'm gonna scroll up because I want to, because I love Disney story because Disney story is about hate, right? I'm gonna skip through a lot of shit. Walt Disney was all right. Cinderella, Mary Poppins, all that. We all know the movies that Disney did. Um, Walt Disney was. I saw it. I just want to show y'all this real quick because I say this all the time for my boy D, because me and D been talking about this for years, but he doesn't understand how big this really is. There it is right here. Disney was born December 5th, 1901 at 1249 Trip Avenue in Chicago's Hermosa neighborhood. I need you to understand that. The only people who make change, cultural change, is New York and LA. Cultural change, like hip hop, breakdancing, movies. That's Chicago, LA. I mean, that's New York, LA. When it comes to movements, niggas saying, fuck this shit, we ain't going, it's always somebody from Chicago. That's why when I said everything over a woman except the Chicago riots in 1919, which is over banking, because niggas ain't going. Chicago niggas ain't going ever. If you in any town, you'll always say Chicago nigga, New York nigga, and a motherfucker from Nigeria. You know why? Chicago niggas lock down small towns. Cause Chicago is so toxic that anywhere else we go, it's like fresh air. Let's take this shit over. It's always Chicago. Whether you white, black, other. If you from Chicago, all tribal warlords come from Chicago because Chicago teaches you how to hate properly. Hate is not an emotion. Motherfuckers like, I hate them and no, hate is not an emotion. Hate is a mindset. You just consciously, it's like having a rival. Like Chicago Bears rival is the Green Bay Packers. Nobody has anything against the players personally. But if you wear that Green Bay jersey, fuck you. I hate you tribally, right? Not individually, tribally. I want to conquer you tribally as a Bears fan. Fuck Green Bay, even though Green Bay done beat us like 18-3 in the last 21 minutes. Green Bay fucking us up. But it doesn't change the hate. It's just not competitive right now. We need a better O line, but I digress. So I just wanted to say that real quick. Um, that he was from Chicago. Now, I just love that part. Now I want to scroll down to what really matters. Walt Disney was doing stuff. He was writing. He was coloring shit. Boom. In 1926, in 1926 they got a deal with Universal Pictures. Can you guys see this? Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. I really can't. It's at 200. In 1927, I'm sorry. In 1927, they got a. Oh, this shit ain't click off. Damn. I lost my viewers. In 1927, they did a deal with uh with Universal Pictures. And in that deal, Disney created Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Now, what the problem with that is, after he created Oswald the Lucky Rabbit in 1928, Disney tried to negotiate a bigger fee for Oswald, but Vince wanted to charge him less. So Disney was like, yo, we about to get up out of here. We're gonna do our own thing. And Disney found out that Universal owned the intellectual property rights to Oswald, right? And Vince started threatened to start his own studio and produce the series himself if Disney refused to accept the pay reduction, right? Disney said, fuck you, declined the ultimatum. He said, fuck you, took the staff, and he took off on his own. Now, here's the thing, that hate, that you took my content, I created that, and you stole it from me. That right there fueled Walt. The hate fueled Walt to take off. He said, man, y'all never own shit else. So so all of that became Mickey Mouse, which became the flagship. Then Goofy and Donald Duck and everything else. He made movie after movie that didn't really make it in the movie theaters because they had theaters back then and they used to play cartoons before the movies. But then he said, don't even worry about it. TV was invented. Bam. Now he's running his old content on TV as new content. And now all his stars are shining now, right? He's running Saturday mornings. Kids loving him, right? Cartoons for everybody. You know what I'm saying? His only real competition at some point was Hanna and Barbera, who did the exact same thing that Disney did. Was like, fuck that shit. They was at another lab. It's like, fuck that. We're gonna start our own production team. And they made shows like the Flintstones and the Jetsons. They were competition. But besides that, Disney was killing, 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 killing. Disney say, man, check this out. There's some swampland in Florida. I'm gonna break it down. You know what I'm saying? Set up 17 different corporations because if Walt said he wanted to buy it by himself, they'll jack up the price. 17 different corporations, make it its own county. Boom, pew, take off, pew, take off. Okay, cool. So after Disney did all that and got sovereignty, he set up his. But they have a lot of things already. They have intellectual property that brings in revenue. They have alliances with everybody from McDonald's to theaters. They own TV channels, ESPN, ABC, the Disney Network, of course, and they just bought Hulu. Um, so they're doing all this. So they have revenue coming in. So they have their own commerce, their own currency, their own police, their own hospital, their own homes, their own. They're just a tourist attraction. They're an on-land version of going to Jamaica or Dominican Island. Like you go to the DR, you're going to the DR, right? The Dominican Republic is the Dominican Republic. It's a tourist trap. So is Walt Disney. Tourist trap. Hotels in there. Like you ain't got to go home. You can stay here. Walt set up a system for his tribe. His tribe just happens to be the mouse. It's the house of the mouse. That's all Disneyland is. It's the house of the mouse. It's no different than what we do at Erkeon. Now I'm gonna show you guys some stuff. Um, the reason I don't talk about tribalism more often is because of this right here. These tolerology courses. Because I understand how weak men are for women. So if you don't take your toddler course, I can't trust you. All you'll do is try to take somebody's slot and let these women breed confusion that'll take you down before you even get a chance to build yourself up. So until you can train your toddler, I can't even accept you and give you this tribal law. Now, with that being said, because I talk about it all the time, I want y'all to understand that there are tribal laws, there are creeds, there are pledges, there's a lot of stuff. These are the things that the Erkian tribe offers. Planetary sovereignty, which means sovereignty on top of sovereign land, right? You have to go with the general laws of the land in which you're sovereign in. That's what plenary sovereignty means in a nutshell. You can look it up, but that's what it means in a nutshell, right? No taxes, which is a misnomer, but you don't have to pay city and county tax, right? So there are taxes, but they're not to the extent of what the federal, state, and local taxes are. because you're your own sovereignty, right? So that reduces your taxes. You miss out two, three different taxes. Just for the people that don't know, I'm gonna make this bigger because I don't think y'all can see it. Just so people don't know, right? When you go to the store, I'm gonna say this real quick. When you go to the store, you pay four taxes on $1, right? You pay payroll tax, you pay income tax, you pay sales tax to purchase something, right? So that's three taxes. So your dollar is taxed three times before you spend it, right? So in Illinois, the Illinois taxes is supposed to be 8%, but it's closer to 11 low key. So if you're paying 11% tax, so now your dollar's already only worth 89 cents. Then federal tax come in. This, I mean, state and federal, they join them together. It's another 8%. So now you're only getting 81-cent purchasing power for your dollar, right? And that's on top of the 26% that your employer take out your dollar before you even saw it, right? So 81 take away 26, that's 75, 55. You're spending 55 cents on a dollar. You earned a dollar, but by the time you purchase anything, you only have the purchase power of 55 cents. We could reduce that to about 80, 90%. You know what I'm saying? In order for you to maximize your worth. So that means you don't have to earn as much because you keep more, if that makes sense. So if you got paid $10 an hour, your $10 an hour essentially is you have $9. While everybody else's $10 an hour is essentially they have $5.50. Right? So that's what no taxes means, right? But these are the things, all things are possible through the Erkeon tribe, right? Um, you don't have to pay child support. As a matter of fact, men get primary custody. Uh, there's term limit marriages, right? Term limit marriages simply mean this. That means that you don't get married for life. It means that your marriage works like a driver's license. So you're married, and then you have to go back and you have to renew your marriage. So at any given time, there's penalties if anybody just quits the marriage before the term, but there's no penalty to just not renew your marriage and be like, yo, I'm single, B. You know what I'm saying? You could tell the next motherfucker like, yo, shorty, I want to fuck with you, but I gotta wait until, this marriage expires, man. If you can only wait 6 more months, it expires. I ain't gonna renew it. It just makes it easier because that way if your spouse is doing right, then you'll renew it. If she's not doing right, then you don't have to renew the contract, which gives her incentives on doing right because girls can't survive without guys. Even they survival skills when they don't have guys rely on guys. Like everything they do relies on guys because either they're just trying to sell 1,000 guys the idea of coochie instead of just selling down with one guy and giving the coochie away and chilling. Um, Legal assistance. That speaks for itself. Home ownership vouchers. I talk about this all the time. Um, but I'll bring this up right now, real quick. Go to Facebook because I can't remember the actual website for the life of me. But I talk about this all the time. We created a housing agency that we're eventually going to get plugged into HUD. So it's going to be a HUD insured housing agency just for men, right? The same way Section 8 and Christian charity and everything else is just for women, this housing agency will be strictly for men, right? Because when men have homes, men create families. When women have homes, women say she could do bad by herself. So, in order to eliminate that, women can buy homes, but they'll have to cash it out. They just can't get funding, right? They can't get funding. And since we own the housing agency, there's no way they can go. They're like, I got money, but we don't accept that. We only accept head vouchers if you want to get a crib. Um, your own currency. We'll have our own currency that you just spend within the tribe, which helps you keep your toddler trained, keep your toddler in check because you paying that money, she can only spend with you, which prevents all these toddlers from spending outside. I'm gonna come back to that. And then polygamy. Polygamy is basically the secretary pool. I ain't even dropped the secretary pool course yet, but it's possible. Um, but I want to go back in business opportunities because people in the tribe can run the tribe. But I want to go back to your own currency because that's important just for toddler purposes, not for God purposes, but for toddler purposes. When you guys spend money, when people get money, black people spend outside their their tribe all the time, right? You can't say outside their race, but whatever. Outside their tribe all the time. Even if they're within their own communities, they don't own any of the stores in their communities. Corner stores and gas stations owned by the Arabs, laundromats and restaurants owned by the Asians. They have no stake in their community because the people that run their community are paid agents. They don't give a fuck about you because that's the way that their system is set up. Liberals run if you live in a city with a large black population, liberals run your city, right? I don't care where you can be in a Republican state like Georgia and be in a liberal city like Atlanta, a Republican state like Illinois, and a super duper toddler daycare like Chicago. So where blacks are found, toddlers abound, right? By creating your own currency and say you can only spend it here, that allows the tribe to dictate who gets to set up vendor slots in their tribe, which means that it's a circular. The money is circular, right? The people of the community run the community, own the community, shop in the community because it's a tribe. Anything else is outsourced. But if it's outsourced, then you do it. Don't let your toddler do it. You do it. You keep her right in that pocket, right in that pocket of poverty. Because girls don't want money. They just want stuff. You can get her stuff without giving her the money. Keep her right in that pocket because you know what your pussy budget is if you did your toddler route. Anyway, so those are the highlights of how being tribal lines up with Disney World and how even now, as they're showing you, they can't take that tribal designation away from Disney World. America does not have a culture. There's no American culture. There are America is a corporation, right? There's company uh there are company policies, which are laws. And then there's a corporate culture, which is, hey, how you doing? We're gonna work out before you start, blah blah blah. Don't harass the girls. We're gonna see with the HR. But there's no culture to your job. Rem- Absence of the enjoyment of going to work. There's no culture. People work jobs that they don't like. People work jobs that they love. But the job is the job. There's no culture to corporate, right? The culture comes from the seminars that corporate sends you to get can-do spirit. They give you videos. It's all part of the I don't want to say indoctrination, but it's all part of the marketing to create a culture out of corporate. That's what America is. All this gay this and female that and all that. That those aren't laws. Those are things that are promoted to you through media, music, film, posters. That's you're inundated with that. Tribe up. You ain't gotta watch none of that shit. Man, sit all that shit down, man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you have to do, right? That's what you have to do when you're trying to create your culture. What you take in is what you put out. So you take away all the real housewives of Atlanta's, and you give women Stepford Wives shows, like bunch of Stepford Wives shows, and then they'll be fine. They'll be like, oh my God, this is what men do. They don't know. They don't go nowhere. Anyway, so that's how I'm gonna shut this one down. So love each other as you love yourself. Feed the pack. Tribe up. Make sure you take the Tyler courses. Link in the description.
Okay, anybody ever seen a mission
Nah.
statement before? Okay, anybody ever seen a mission statement before? Here, everybody take one. Take a mission statement. Here we go. One for everybody. One, slow down. All right. Okay, now, who wants to be the first one to read the first sentence on the mission statement? Okay, how about you?
I don't read yet.
Percocets. Molly Percocets.